Bengals lose a tough one here. Tell you what, it had a different feel than the rest of these losses for these Bengals. Felt like it was in all the other games here. This time, Bengals 27-3 loss to the Ravens, which, by the way, before we jump into this, Bengals defense, I should say, played really well. For a Ravens team that runs up and down the field on teams, this Bengals defense played really well. It was a 20-point game until that fumble return for a touchdown there. Bengals defense kept this Bengals offense in it. The best you could ask for here. They can put some points on the board. Even that Bengals defense could have caught a couple of those interceptions, pick sixes. This game would have been close. Regardless, hats off to the way the defense played this game. But we're here today to talk about this Bengals offense. This Bengals offense that struggled, clearly, was not having the best of days. And we're going to talk about, as a fan, not a coach, not a player, not like we know what we're talking about, but we think we know what we're talking about, what we've seen in this game, and why the Bengals struggled. I think at first it comes down to this. These Bengals clearly struggling at the offensive line position. So what have they been doing these last couple games? They said, you know what, let's bring some tight ends in. Let's go, 2 wide receiver set, leave the running back in the backfield, do as much as we can to help protect Joe Burrow here, which in turn results in them running a lot of plays where there's only 2 guys running routes, or occasionally there's 3 guys running routes. They'll bring the running back out of the backfield. And the problem with doing that against this Baltimore Ravens team is not only do they love the blitz, not only do they know how to get to the quarterback like crazy, which they did in this game, but they got 2 absolute studs out there out wide in Peters and Humphrey covering those wide receivers. You ain't gonna work on those guys like you did in previous weeks on 2 wide receiver sets, protecting the quarterback, getting them open, especially against the Baltimore Ravens team that's more than capable of getting to the quarterback quickly and easily with blitz and 5, with blitz and 6, dropping back 5. And you're only running 2 wide receiver sets, or 2 wide route plays, I should say, 3 of them. Joe's gonna struggle with that. Any team is gonna struggle with that against a Baltimore Ravens secondary that is top notch. And I think that was the problem the Bengals ran into here today, is they seen that game plan strategy that worked so well against a Jaguars defense, more depleted, you can make it work. You can make the run game work against them. You do that against the Ravens defense, though, not so much. And the Bengals were at fits because of that and because of how often Joe Burrow was getting hit here. I mean, here's a good example. It was 2nd and 4 on this play. Bengals play action. Burrow drops back, doesn't even have time to set his feet. Doesn't even have time to set his feet on this drop back, where again, it's a 2 wide receiver set. There's only 2 guys running a route in this play, and the Bengals still can't even allow Burrow to get the play action off without getting hit. That was the MO of this game. It was, what are you supposed to do there? What are you supposed to do if you can't stop the Baltimore Ravens when you're running 2 guys out wide? Which is questionable here in this one anyway, even though Burrow didn't really have time to set his feet or anything. They needed 4 yards, and it looked like they was trying for a deep ball or something, because there wasn't anybody in the vicinity for that 4-yard route as far as him just dumping it off right there. But with the inability to block being known that late in the game, I thought that was a little bit of a shock there, as just opposed to them trying to take this ball down the field. Something they've done really well in recent weeks, just trying to get those quick slants. Again, something these Ravens DBs do a lot better job of covering than a lot of them in the league do, though. So maybe those just weren't there as much for the Bengals this week. And again, the issue being, you're forcing these guys to sit back and block because they're struggling, the offensive line on their own, to protect Joe Burrow. We've seen it again today. A couple times there was some free runners at Joe Burrow. Guys like Calais Campbell probably shouldn't go in untouched. And that happened to be the case here on occasion today for this Bengals offensive line. But hey, we're not going to just go and bash offensive line. We're going to mix things up this week. First and foremost, you guys been following the channel, you know how much we love Joe Burrow. A huge Joe Burrow guy. Man is going to be, I still believe, franchise quarterback. No questions about it. He's an elite player. But I think you got to take a look at some things Joe Burrow may have, could have improved on in this game. One thing we don't talk about a lot is how a lot of quarterbacks do, change up the protections. They change up the protections when they see different guys in different gaps on the blitz. Maybe there's some work that can be done there. We haven't heard a lot of talk about that. Just a side note, though. Maybe not something major, something that, does get touched on, doesn't get touched on, whatever. What I'm more concerned about with Joe Burrow here is we see, again, these plays where the Bengals are only running 2 routes, running 3 routes, and we're seeing the running back squeak out of the backfield where Joe either, he's open and Joe Burrow misses him. Mixon's open, that is. Or he just overthrew him. There was a play in the game yesterday. He had all the space in the world. Now Burrow was pressured, but he threw it over his head and couldn't get it to him. There was another one. It was a 2 deep or 2 wide receiver set running it. It was an out of the play act, might not have been out of play action, but Mixon rolls out to the left. Burrow takes the sack. Mixon was wide open there as well. I think he's got to do a better job of finding those checkdowns. I think it's, when you consider that and you look at, plays like this one here where you got, again, Joe Mixon lining up out wide. It's 1st and 20 though, but he's got a little bit of a mismatch. I wouldn't call it a mismatch, but I would say coverage preferred matchup here. If you look at this, he's got 10 yards of cushion. There's 10 yards of space between DB, Joe Mixon. If you're Joe Burrow, I think you got to look at that, right? I again, not calling the plays, but I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say Joe Mixon isn't running a go route here, going 50 yards down the field. He's running a short route and he's got that space. Look for him, get that, quick 5-6 yard pickup, whatever it is. Take what they're giving you there. 1st and 20, get a little chunk back. And again, here, you got 2nd and 14. What is it? Sample and Higgins down low. Again, look at all the space Sample has. And more importantly, look at the route he runs. Both him and Higgins cut it off. What, about 5 yards down the field? Hook it right. Wide open. You could have hit Higgins there for the quick hitter. He probably got tackled right away. But you had Sample wide open, all kinds of space around him. And Joe didn't look that direction. And he takes that clobbering of a guy that came in untouched. Did he come in untouched? Abso-freaking-lutely. Is that a problem? Sure. But at the end of the day, Burrow could have slung that bad boy out real quickly to the left there, hit that man, got some yards, and more importantly, probably avoided that hit, or he might have got bumped, not killed like he did on that play there. And the competitive nature, I get the feeling here, it comes in Joe where he's just, you got these 2nd and longs, you got these 1st and longs, which it seems like that's the areas where he's, in some of these plays here, where he's missing these shorter plays that are open. It makes you feel like just the competitive guy that he is, he's looking for that bigger chunk play. He's looking down the field. He's trying to make more out of something. He feels like, hey, you know what? I can get the 4 yards on the ground with my legs or something if I need it there. I can make that work. Something that he actually, another side note there, something he missed there early in the game too. That went for that 4th and down. 4th down, I thought Burrow was going to go out and scramble, just pick up the yardage. It looked like he had it. And again, he took the shot downfield there too. Instead of settling for the smaller play, looking for the bigger play there instead of just taking what the defense is giving you. Maybe that's the game we're saying here. Take what the defense is giving you. He's giving you these 4 or 5 yard passes. In this case, let Sample make the play. See if he can pick up 8 or 9 and settle for 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, 3rd and manageable, opposed to getting another 3rd and long play there. But what it feels like you're seeing here is you're seeing the Bengals run some of these shorter routes. You're seeing some running backs get open, go out in the flat. I think I'd like to see Bernard in there more often, to be honest. He's a better pass blocker, great receiving back there. If you're forced into these longer passing downs, use the man to his strengths there. He's great in the open field. But you want to see when they're giving Burrow these options to hurry up and get rid of the ball, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Even if it's only 4 or 5 yards, I don't care if it's 2nd and 20 and you get 4 yards. At least he's not taking the hit. And I think that was the problem in this game. You got to the 4th quarter, it almost felt like the 3rd quarter. It was just like, I've seen enough. Zach's like, that's it. It's 3rd and 10. We're dumping it off. It's 3rd and we're just going to get the ball out of your hands as quick as possible and punt. You got to the 4th quarter, run. That was gut-wrenching just to watch a team you knew that had to hurt Burrow inside there to just roll over. That was pretty much what was being said there. Even when the Bengals are down 20, they was going down the field before that fumble for a touchdown. They was running 25 seconds, 30 seconds off the clock before they broke huddle. There was clearly just no urgency to win that game. They was just worried about getting out of Baltimore unscathed without any injuries. That was, and that's what it comes down to. I think when you look at some of these plays with Burrow, the more hits he can avoid, the more confidence we're going to see instilled in this guy into, more plays, or the more confidence we're going to see this coaching staff say, all right, let's give Joe a chance here. Let's give Joe a chance here to keep coming down the field. But you're getting in that 4th quarter. You're down 3 possessions. This is your prized possession. I mean, you can understand the viewpoint of the coaching staff saying, we're just not going to take any chances. We're just not going to take any chances. We're just going to, settle for the loss in this one, I guess, and do what you got to do. As tough as that was to watch, because I tell you what, Lamar, I'm telling you, 2 pick sixes that guy could have thrown that game. Different story. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen. I do think, though, again, it's a down day for Joe Burrow. He'll look at the tape. He'll look what he can do, see what he can do better. That's what this guy does. He's a competitor. He's going to get better. And he's just going to be, it's a week in and week out thing. I think this is a Baltimore Ravens team that's shown different schemes, shown different plays or shown different formations, whatever, that Joe Burrow just hasn't seen. You got to keep in mind that this guy's still very new to the league, and this is a Baltimore Ravens defense that feasts on rookie quarterbacks. And I think, again, he looks at the tape. He finds, you know, they come back and play these guys the second time this season. I think he's got to find these areas that there is holes. We've seen a lot of cases in this game. There was T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd wide open. I mean, Burrow hit him, but he was finding them. That's the point. There was routes where they was getting these guys wide open. I think he's going to continue to grow in that. I do. I just think this offensive line, they got to find a way to, you know, be able to protect Burrow. He's got to get rid of the ball in certain cases. They'll be all right. That was a scary week, though, for these Bengals. Hopefully they get better next week here against the Colts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.